And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. Now, the background, before I introduce you to my guest, the background noise is probably, no, not these ladies at the table next to me, but the background noise is construction, because we are here in Blue Ridge. We call it America. It's construction right over here. Some construction noise you may hear. May hear delivery trucks. I love being here on Friday morning. I want to welcome my next guest. Going to spend basically the rest of the show with me, Scot Ferrell. Did I get that right, Lonnie?
You got it right.
I should ask you.
Right.
You're here.
Yeah. But Lonnie's pretty smart.
But I've been asking Lonnie. I could go right. I can go right here.
He's a wordsmith. Don't worry about it.
Yes, he is. Scott, how you doing? Glad to have you back.
Doing well. Nice to be here.
Okay, last week we got together. And you're back again. Why'd you want to come back again?
It's so much fun.
Why'd you decide to come back again?
I want to borrow the jacket, and I knew if I didn't come back, I wouldn't get to wear it.
I'll let you borrow the jacket if you get a haircut.
Not happening. That's a divorce.
There you go, huh?
My wife will not let me cut my hair.
Really?
Yes.
Huh?
You can ask her.
I can't. Hey. Is this the way it's going to be? Well, so, hey, listen, just saying. Just saying. Scott, how are you doing? You live here in Georgia, in North Georgia, over in Dawson County. Tell us a little bit about yourself. For those viewers, we had Scott on last week. You'll be able to see a full interview that we did in the office for about an hour. Got into some background with Scott and some things that he may want to revisit this morning, but we don't want to do that for the next hour.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do professionally, and some things you got going on?
I'm a behavior coach professionally. I handle CEOs and families.
That's why you're back so soon.
That's why I'm back so soon. I've got one bestseller. I've got a new book coming out in mid-July, and I do a syndicated radio show. So I like yourself. I don't get to be seen, so I only do microphone only.
Microphone only?
I'm known as the male Delilah. I do love and lollipops on the radio.
Oh, well, that's why I have to keep a haircut, because I'm on TV a lot. Highlight some of those things that you're talking about. Now, you were up last week. You've had some meetings up here in North Georgia. You speak to different groups, from CEOs to youth groups.
I do.
On and on. Break down some of those and some of the things that you do get involved in.
I do church, so I've got a whole church side. I used to be on the board for FCA, and I was a high school basketball coach for many, many, many years. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work in the pros some, the NCAA some, high school some. So I've got a wide range here. But my focus now is coaching people. What do I coach them in? Purpose, plan, direction. Purpose, plan, direction. It's very simple. We were created by God who gave us a purpose, plan, and direction. Now I go in for a company. I make sure the company has a mission and a vision, and that the CEO's objectives line up throughout the company. It sounds like a family. Mom, dad, kids. Purpose, plan, direction. I make sure everybody's on the same page, because I do parenting, marriage, and singles. That number one thing I always get asked is, are there any good men or any good women left? And I'll go, yeah, you're the problem. We're always the problem. My new business book is called It's Not Them, It's You. And I wrote the book just for CEOs. And to do the book, I interviewed 400 senior vice presidents. I didn't interview any CEOs. I didn't want to ask the CEOs what they thought. I needed to know what senior VPs thought, the other C-level.
I have to make notes, because obviously Lonnie won't write this down. But this is good information, folks. And I don't mean to be rude, but I want to write this down, because I'm actually paying attention. Last time on the show, on the show, you told me to, shut up, be quiet, and listen. And I don't want to go down that road again. I got trouble last time. But go ahead. Well, I'm just saying, that's what happened, folks. No, senior VPs, and I'm understanding that. Go ahead. I'm understanding where you're going with that.
Because senior VPs are always the one caught in the middle. You're always having to be that person who takes all the heat from here and all the heat from here. And then once I left senior VPs, I interviewed all general managers from retail stores. So you had to be a general manager for me to talk to you. What's your biggest beef? What's your biggest complaint? What are the areas you really need to focus on? And then I would ask customers. And what I found out was, so many companies just don't care. They just don't care. One example was a popular restaurant that does breakfast changed their oatmeal. I went to 25 of these outlets in 25 different states, and they all had the same complaint. No, we didn't want to change the oatmeal. Some millennial wanted to change the oatmeal, so we changed it, and all the customers hate it, but they're not going to change it back.
I'm taking notes. Millennial changed oatmeal. Oh. Please don't tell me that they put instant oatmeal in.
It was just as bad, yes. They had the best oatmeal I had ever had, and now they'll only make it one way, and nobody will order it anymore, and now it's instant.
Well, you think I'm joking? I have a box at the house, which I have a box at the house with the old guy on it, Quaker Oats. And, it's no respecting Southerner eats instant oatmeal or grits.
Like grits, yeah.
Right?
No.
Okay, so they changed. Now I know to some people this might sound. Wait a minute, I don't know where you're going with this. This is big to me because I'm understanding where you're going because somebody changed the oatmeal. Give me where you were going with this.
Ask you. It's like, I guess Clark Howard's probably a pretty good example. It's always you will vote with your feet. If you start to dislike something in an establishment, you won't come back. And so many times it's like dating. They don't tell you why, they just don't show back up. If you're not listening to your customers on something so small as oatmeal, where that was one of your biggest sellers and now it's no longer your biggest seller, what are the other areas you're not listening to me in? Well, if I know you're dropping off on this one area, I know that maybe your supply's not going to be as good. Your service might be not where it was. Your restaurants may not be as clean. It's always about details. And if the details aren't met, then I know you're starting to slack off in every single area, and I won't eat in that restaurant any longer.
If the attention to detail on one thing, sometimes we think, well, that's just the simplest thing, but reality, that is a tell-all.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah. Do you want your architect to be slack in one area of the building, or do you want him to be really fine-tuned in the detail? Every detail.
Give us some more examples of some of the interviews you did and some of the responses you got, maybe some shocking things that you got, or just give us an example of some responses in your interviews.
It was the apathy. It was so many of them cry, I can't find good employees anymore. No, you train good employees. You cannot train out of someone flawed character. But I've got a whole interview process I put in the book of how to find the right employee, so to speak, because you're hiring somebody's mother, father, grandmother, aunt, uncle. That's who trained them. That's who you're hiring. But what was shocking was so much dissatisfaction had turned into apathy, had turned into I'm quitting. And this was from GM and above, not rank and file employees. And they were all just deciding to leave. And I said, if they gave you a raise, would you stay? No. What do you want out of this whole thing? What do you want? I want to be heard, and I want to have the power to change things for the clients. And that was the number one complaint I got was, I'm not allowed to do what's right for my client to keep them. What's the hardest customer to ever get? One you lost. Not coming back. And so many companies have forgotten that if I earn your business and I earn your trust, I can keep you as long as I make good on our agreement. Well, if I always make good on my agreement, you're going to bring people with you. Once I violate your trust, you're not only going to leave, but you're going to tell every single person you know not to do business with me. And that's where
Can I say something? I don't want to interrupt you, but all you have to do now is say, I walked in somewhere and they were rude. Word of mouth is still the starting point. But word of mouth now is worldwide, and as the old-fashioned, you say, well, word of mouth, how did you grow your business? Word of mouth. It has taken on a whole new word of mouth is right here, right? You come right out, and the next thing you know, somebody says, hey, somebody was rude in there to me. That's tough, isn't it?
Well, what's amazing is we've learned to tolerate rude behavior from employees. Go to any fast food restaurant now, any one of them now, and we will put up with X, but we won't put up with this anymore. Where when you and I were kids, it was nothing was tolerated. Remember the good old days back in the fast food restaurant when they had you on a clock and you had to have the food out the window at a certain time?
Yes.
That's gone by the way of the dodo. It's fast food's just a name for a smaller restaurant now. There's nothing fast about it. There's nothing competent about it. I was at I can say it, Denny's. First day on the job, the young lady looks at me. I said, I want an iced coffee. It's $2.49. It's right there on the menu. Deer in headlights. She goes, can you come back here and help me? So she takes me around to the cash register. She goes, can you ring this up for me? Are you serious? Yeah, I just clocked in. It's my first day. Nobody trained me. I said, well, why don't we get a manager? So we got a manager. So it's iced coffee, medium, $2.49. I walked out of that restaurant after 30 minutes with a small hot coffee, cream and sugar. I went back 4 more days. I never got my iced coffee. My wife thinks I'm psychotic. She's like, why do you keep going back?
So do I, folks.
I was in it to win it.
I know when I met her this morning, there was something about her I like. Go ahead.
On day 5, after I never got the medium iced coffee. After day 5, I went to Starbucks.
Hey, you know, the sign on the back says, how is my driving? And there's a number. I'm the guy that places the call. Right?
I am. I ended up talking to the CEO, and a friend of mine knows the CEO at Starbucks, so I just called over there. And it's amazing. I always tell people, I'm rating your restaurant. I'm going to report about it on the radio. Ha, ha, ha. I'm not kidding. It's just like TripAdvisor or any of these other sites. Take them seriously because it can be the difference between you and staying open and closing.
I can agree. I can definitely agree. I'm your host, BKP. We're at the Shops at Sycamore Crossing, downtown Blue Ridge, just enjoying it. It's 10 o'clock. We got an hour left this morning. We're going to spend some more time with my guest here, Scot Ferrell, going to be back with us. But we're going to take a brief break. We're going to come back and spend a couple minutes with Amy Woodring from L.J. Fitness, and we're going to be talking about athletic training. She's going to be my guest for a couple minutes, and then we've got another whole hour in front of us, and Scott will be back to spend more time, and we're going to also go into a couple of the shops before we leave the day at 11. Lonnie, take us to break, and we'll pick up this. I was just thinking restaurants. There's the ones you love and the ones you'll never go back to.
True.
I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. Our beautiful Nordstrom. Stay here just a minute. Listen to these bells in the back. Can you hear that, Lonnie? Well, maybe you could hear it because Lonnie's not paying attention. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's where we're at. We call it America. We'll be back after this break. And we're back on BKP, beautiful downtown Blue Ridge this Friday morning. Can't wait to wrap the show up. Not I can't wait to wrap the show up, but I get to go down here at Harvest on Main and have a great lunch afterwards every time downtown Blue Ridge. I'm back with Scot Ferrell. Scott, before we left earlier in our last segment, we were talking about a book. Welcome back. We were talking about a book that you have coming out. Let's stay on that unless you want to go another direction. Let's talk a little more about the inspiration of the book, some of the things to do your research, when it's coming out, and what people can expect.
My inspiration for the book. My friend Shelly Hunt told me I was writing the book, actually. You can thank Shelly for Huggies. The diapers, that would be Shelly that helped P&G come up with that. We were sick of not getting it done right. So basically, we've been watching company after company after company not do it right. What do I mean? Not treating their employees correctly and not treating their clients correctly. So I decided to do research. I can't stand it when people just make up books about their own opinion. I actually interview people. So I will go out and interview customers.
I had to scratch through that. It was on my list of things to do. Make up books about my own opinion.
Nobody cares.
I scratched through that. All right, let's
go back. Nobody really cares what I think, but they do care what other people think.
It's what I do 4 days a week, you know. But anyhow.
Put it this way.
Just knock what I do, but you keep going.
Put it this way. I've got a book coming out, What Men Don't Get About Women. It's a great book. How did I do my research? I asked 1,000 women personally. I go stand in a retail store and go, hey, you got 3 seconds? Can I ask you some questions? 45 minutes later, they're still talking to me. So I interviewed 1,000 women to see what we don't get about women. Same thing with clients and employees for companies. Other than money, money's not the determining factor on why people stay or go from a company. What do you want? All right, as an employee, if it's fair to the CEO and to the board of directors and to all the people concerned financially, what is it you want? They wanted to be able to use their talents in an effective manner to help the company make money, and they wanted to feel valued. I said, okay, just those two things. If I can meet value and allow you to take your talents and apply them on a daily basis, you'll stay. Yes. So ask the clients, what will keep you here? Price still wasn't it. Price wasn't it. It was satisfaction knowing that the establishment, the company, would take care of my needs and would answer any issues I have. So meet my need when you said you would, and then answer any issues I might have if something happens. So it's not price, no. So neither side came down to money, came down to satisfaction. Now, their degrees of satisfaction were different, but it still came back to, I guess, being valid in the eyes of the company.
Some things we really shop and we look for deals, and we research and we go online. But I'm for one, no matter how technology, no matter what direction it goes in, I for one will still look for a quality product and want service to go with it. And I think most people will pay for it. Mm-hmm. They just won't overpay for it.
Right.
You with me?
Yeah, it's got to be a fair price.
Right.
So it's got to be that gut check where you go in and go, you're comfortable with it. It doesn't have to be the cheapest, but it's just got to be fair. Value for dollar. And if you meet value for dollar, people aren't going to complain.
You know what my goal was when I used to have a construction business several years ago? I would tell our staff, our salespeople, where we want to be with a customer is we want to provide such a service and quality product that when our competitors walk through the door, hand their card to them, okay, that they say, we appreciate you stopping by, but we're happy with the person that we're working with now. And that's it.
Yeah.
That was like the level of total achievement I wanted to get to. Not be rude to them, but that's the way I looked at it. And they did not, our customers, but the one thing we could not do is in our business, and it's the construction business, we couldn't take advantage of that customer. We couldn't say, oh, well, that customer's not watching, so we can do this or that. You follow what I'm saying?
I do.
Give me a couple more interest points that you were trying to achieve in your book for the reader as it comes out, some other things that you were wanting to make sure was achieved.
I wanted to make sure people that were hiring, again, I
That's
say
security dog, by the way.
Security dog.
Yeah.
Mostly CEOs. Who you are as a person will vibrate all the way down through your company. If you have no morals and no judgment, it will vibrate through. If you're a good person who has morals, it'll vibrate through. But when you find a good employee, why wouldn't you want to keep them? I'm from RTP area in North Carolina. SAS is revered for employee retention. Why? They don't have any turnover at all. The only people that leave this company die. Then we got to replace them. He figured out that you don't have to pay them a gross amount of money. You just take care of them. What do I mean by taking care of someone? A fair wage for a fair day's work and show concern for them and their family. I tell CEOs, you don't necessarily have to have your employee be your biggest fan. You want their spouse to be your biggest fan. That day when they don't feel so good, when it's pretty outside, if they're just looking for a reason to take off, their spouse goes, you got a job to go do. And these people look after you and us. You owe it to them to go to work and do the best you can. And if you can make the spouse your biggest fan, you've done something. Because the spouse is going to be the one out telling the entire world how wonderful you are, not your employee. I know. I've been on the other side of that, and I've been the first to go, hey, you got to try this company. It works. Just do it.
Well, I don't think to be a business owner you have to overpay, and I'm cautious with the way I say that, because when you talk about people and the value of people and you say overpay, well, but you don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get your work done. But a little thing, and I've told you before, I like to keep things simple. And I grew up in a family business. My dad started a business in 1962. And when I was 18 years old, my job was just to sit in the corner of the office and listen. I wasn't allowed to say anything. Obviously, I had to get out of there, right? But I was only allowed to sit in the corner and listen, okay? And my father hired a construction manager. And I'll never forget this. I'm about 21 years old, and I'm sitting in the corner, and he brings this guy in. He interviews him. I'm sitting there, and I'm just listening to learn. And at the end, I heard my dad make an offer to him, everything like that. And at the end, he said, he asked me when the guy was gone, he said, what do you think? And I said, well, I think he'll do a good job. I liked him, but I think we paid him way too much money. We could have got him. Now, I'm 21 years old. I said, we could have got him for a lot less money. My dad said, okay, how much? And I told him, I said, we could have got him to work for that. He looked back at me and said, can you live on that? I said, no, I can't live on that. He said, you can't live on it, but you expected him. He said, son, never forget, if they can't live, they can't work for you. I got a dozen of those. You can have them, free.
Is that why he wanted you to be quiet?
I knew we wouldn't get to another segment. I knew it. And I see, you know why I keep having you back? You want to know the truth? I know I'm making the next book. I know it. That's it.
You will. I promise you.
You promise?
I promise you.
Just making sure. When's the book coming out, Scott?
Mid-July. Again, you know how publishers are. They'll tell you mid-July. Hopefully it will be mid-July of 2016.
No, I haven't published my work, so I don't know how publishers are. I got a whole list of stuff to publish, though.
There you go.
Lonnie writes it down.
Lonnie can write down all your famous quotes, and then he can publish them.
Yeah. Huh?
Musical.
Do the musical?
Is Lonnie doing the dancing and singing?
No. I had to think that one out a minute. What are some of the speaking engagements that you have and some of the groups that you speak to? Let's switch gears from the book a little bit and some of the things you got on tap this summer.
Traditional business, but I'll skip past that. I'm starting to go to more churches. It's funny. The bad boy image that I have, which I was an atrocious...
Is that what that is?
I was.
I was caught off guard.
Yeah, I know.
I was trying to identify that for the last 2 times. I didn't know what you were trying to move with.
I tell you what,
I'm doing Caddyshack, so at least I know what I'm doing.
Don't stop at McDonald's here. They thought I was an alien, and everybody wanted to talk to me. Yeah. Hey, look at that. He's from Mars.
Okay, so you're going to more churches.
I'm going to more churches. As we've spoken earlier, kids, and I'm saying kids, anybody under 21 and under, need to hear authenticity of Christianity. But they want to see it lived out. And a lot of times they're curious about guys like me because, as one of my friends called me one night, it's 12 o'clock at night. She called me and she goes, you got 5 minutes? Why? You've committed every sin known to man. I think I can talk to you. I was like, is that a compliment? Yeah, it just means I can talk to you better. And I said, what's up? And they proceeded to tell me all the awful things they'd done. I said, you're right. This is really nothing on the scale of big sins. But kids need to hear it. We've got a whole generation that's been entertained in the church, but they haven't learned anything. And it's about time we sat down and taught them some gospel and taught them what Jesus really meant to us here and in eternity. And now that's what I'm focusing on.
So you got some plans of developing some youth rallies or talking to youth groups and things like that going on? Yeah,
we've got some big ones planned. And I'm involved with the Crisis Pregnancy Center up here especially. And I told her the other day, I said, I tried so hard to fill your center pre-Jesus. I'm going to try to fund your center post-Jesus. And I'm serious about that because I always tell people, naked in the back seat's a bad time to make a life-changing decision. So you'd better make it before you get there.
Well, let me just say this. It's having a bad boy image is not as good as having a good boy image and being bad. Don't forget it. You got that? You understand?
I do.
You like that? I'm your host, BKP. We're going to stay with Scott all summer long because I tell you what, we're going to... Hey, I know you. I haven't met the Pooch. I'm going to meet the Pooch. I got a friend just come down to visit from Blairsville. That's great. I'm not caught off guard. I knew my friend would come down and say hello. But, folks, we're going to stay with Scott all summer because he is going to be doing some different things in all the North Georgia area with some youth groups. I know some things he's been working on, so we're going to stay with him all summer and bring you information. Scott, we're going to close out today. I'm going to run in the Broken Bull and change clothes, okay? And then I'm going to go over to this lady here and see what her gift shop looks like. But can you stick around? We'll close out together the last 5 minutes. All right? Good to have you here. Bad boy image. Don't forget, folks, what I said. Okay? All right, I'm your host, BKP. Now, wait a minute, Lonnie. All right, we got the mic. We good, Lonnie? Okay, now, we're going to go over here. Follow me over here, Lonnie. We're going to go over here to the Broken Bull, folks. And I'm gonna go in here, so stay with me at this next break. I'm going to go into the Broken Bull, and I'm going to go in this. Can you get me over here, Lonnie? Lonnie's going to take me to break. I'm going to go in this door, and I'm going to shed the Caddyshack jacket and all the above, and we're going to see what they have in store for me in the Broken Bull. So take 4 minutes to stay with me, because I'll be right back. I'm going in this door, and when I come back, we'll see what they have in store. I don't know what's going on in here, folks. Stay with me after this break and see what the Broken Bull has in store for your host, BKP. Lonnie, take us to break. I always praise Scott that Lonnie has nothing to throw at me. You know what I mean? That is the thing that I always hope for, is that Lonnie does not have anything to throw at me. I'm going to try to set my mic up.
It's great.
You didn't know this is an action show.
It's great. And Lonnie's agile, man. It looks like a guy from NFL films.
NFL, yeah. Him in the orange shorts.
I like the outfit.
Do you like that?
It looks good.
Huh? Is it, what did you say that? What's that look again you're trying to pull off? I forgot.
Okay,
it's
bad boy look. But you were the nice guy look with the, with the bad
I
side.
defined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, I defined
You're like
it.
a superhero.
I like that. I like that, Lonnie. Superhero. Don't feed the ego.
I'll bring you my Green Lantern ring.
Did you enjoy your visit with us this morning?
Very much so.
We're wrapping up today with Scot Ferrell. Scot Ferrell. We've had visitors. We have a guy that makes a little homemade art at the house you could stop by and say hello to. We've talked about athletic training, specific athletic training for your young athlete trying to get into college. We have talked trash. We've talked gun control. And, Scott, you have a book coming out in July.
I do.
In July. Anything else you wanted to share with us this morning that's going on with you and your business? Before we left, we got about 8 minutes before we wrap up.
Yeah, it's something that's, with the Orlando tragedy and everything that we've seen, what's causing all this? Well, that's terrorism. But what's causing the division in our country? A lack of family. We have watched the family structure be completely destroyed. And it's funny, I was reading Facebook today, and a lady said, look, man, I didn't order a side of Screaming Kid with my dish. Number one complaint when I talk to people about outside entities as far as going and having dinner or going into a retail establishment was kids. I just did a parenting product. It's funny. It's 18 videos. Guess how many videos have something to do with kids? 1. It's 17 videos of mom and dad. This is your responsibility. It always starts at the top. Like I say, it's not them, it's you. Kids will only act the way they are taught. I always tell people, behavior ignored is behavior condoned. Think of our generation, the expectation that we had as people. You're training people from 0 to 18 to be older adults. Why do we allow children to act the way they do now in society? We've lowered our standard of what we demand. I think it's time to implement the standard back. And that's becoming a huge issue. So I got irritated one day. I was at a restaurant. I was like, I've had it. And I went home and filmed the whole product.
Well, I love children. And I say it like that, zero problem with children. I like to go and talk with third graders. I tell people if I had to do over. You love the if I had to do over, which we don't. We don't have it to do over. But if I had to do over, I tell people all the time, I'd be a kindergarten teacher. I love going into kindergarten classes. In fact, for years, for probably 6 or 7 years, I taught kindergarten church. Okay, love that group. Okay, attentive. All right, but what I say to people is, you know, I do not want kicked in the back. Well, thank you very much.
T-girl, thank you.
Tupelo T.
All right,
is
what do we
the
got
only.
here?
You.
Let's see. Wow.
No, I'm telling you.
That's
I'm
got
telling
wow.
you. This is Tupelo Tea. It's the only thing we drink on the set here, besides pure water. The only thing we allow is Tupelo Tea. We love it. And do they have an idea on when they're going to open yet?
I think we're shooting for the 4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend.
Wow.
Because the owners, Tom and Donna, will not open that door and serve tea to the public till their product is correct. That's just the kind of people. We're talking about customer service. I'm telling you, right on the other side of that door is a product. Thank you very much.
Some of the best tea I've ever had.
Good.
Tupelo Tea, downtown Blue Ridge, hopefully July 4th. What a product. Now, I got to find out. I didn't take the time to find out what we are drinking here as far as what kind. I just trust whatever they bring me. I mean, it's just so great. So you do that, too? Is that in the long list?
You got to see what it is.
Is that on the long list of things you do?
I'm a Southern boy. I can pick out iced tea.
Yeah, you can. Any respected Southerner can pick out
any
their
Southerner.
tea,
That's
right?
exactly
You got to do
right.
it with that voice. You have to do it. Any respected Southerner, right? Anyhow, I don't even have any idea
that's
what
good.
we were talking
Man,
about.
that is good.
This is lose your train of thought and everything.
Yeah, Southern boy. Send them a glass of tea. They'll stop talking.
I don't want kicked in the back when I'm trying to have my meal. I'm going to pay for it. I don't want the children and the next booth to kick me in the back. I am telling you, I don't like to be negative. I go as far as I can because, as you hear, we promote small business, and I want to give every business all the chances. I'm that kind of customer. A lot of customers don't.
Yes, you're correct. You get one shot. It's like dating. You're going to get one shot. You better maximize that one shot. It's kind of like the tea people. She brings me out a glass of tea. I know this is absolutely amazing now, so where am I going to come when they open? Here.
Absolutely.
Some of the best tea I've ever had. Now, when I'm up in this region, I'm going to stop here first. Now I'm one of those guys. If I find good tea, when I go into the town, I'm going to drink it first.
I'm always cautious on how I say it because I don't want to make it sound like I don't like tea, but I've never been a really big tea drinker, and since we started here on Fridays, I'm changed totally.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Wow,
Scott, I want to invite you back again anytime. I want to open the door for you to come up anytime. I want to open the door for any opportunity we can help you in any way, promote some of the things that you are doing, especially with young people and some of the things you got going on. We're happy to hear you're involved with the Crisis Pregnancy Center. And when can we expect some announcements on some things that you're setting up here in North Georgia as far as some speaking engagements?
We're going to do a tent revival. Don't know when, so I can't give you that one. But Crisis Pregnancy Centers, we've got a big event next February, the 8th, where we're bringing the kids in, and we're going to talk about sex in a way that would explain why it's a good idea to wait. And we want to make sure that everybody's on board on why it's so important to understand who you are, what your purpose is, what your plan is, and the direction God's got for the rest of your life. So make decisions that are based on longevity, not the moment.
Folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown America, Blue Ridge. We always enjoy coming up here on Friday. We're here every Friday morning from 8 to 11. I probably should stay an extra hour now that I'm wearing these cool clothes. I mean, I know you only got to see me in these cool clothes for 30 minutes. It deserves another hour, but I want to thank, here's what I love. I love this small business, small town, America. The Broken Bull over here, that's where my clothes came from. We have the New Blue Home and Gift, the Kinty. Now, we didn't get to go into Kinty today. We promised next week we will go into the Peruvian store, the Kinty. And last but not least, you got to round it out with Tupelo Tea. Tom and Donna, we appreciate you very much. And they are shooting for, this is not an official, but they are shooting for July 4th opening. I'm your host, BKP. Lonnie, we forget anything? You think we're good? We're done? Okay, folks, we're going to be back here next Friday. We're going to give Lonnie another shot to get it right. He's done a great job. We love him. Thank you, Elaine. Don't forget, come down. Bring your little pooch. We introduced you to one today. Bring your doggy down and say hello to us. We're out of here at FetcherNews.com. Hey, we'll be back Monday morning. Lonnie, don't take me out yet. We'll be back Monday morning at the office, 8 a.m. We'll be right back there. And don't forget, Monday morning, we're coming back. Kevin will be back from vacation. Kevin has ridden about as many Ferris wheels as he possibly can down in Panama Beach, okay? So he's going to be back here Monday at 10 o'clock. We're going to come back again with North Georgia's only live online newscast, The Morning Report. Got some other big things going on. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Blue Ridge. Scott, again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Show up anytime. Just show up. Just show up. And there's the whistle saying we're out of here. Blue Ridge train. Lonnie, take us out of here.